So what are we doing?
I don't know. Hey guys, welcome to Rough Cuts. We finally watched Avengers Endgame. Right? What was your favorite character? And that's the episode. See you next week.
You can't fucking spring that on me, dude. There's no... What character? Okay, wait, no, sorry. There is actually an obvious answer to this. I apologize. Hold up. No, there's an actual
All right, let's say it together. Say it together.
3, 2, 1.
Grandpa Man! Woo! Grandpa Man!
Woo!
Welcome to Rough Cuts.
Podcast over. That's the only thing that matters about this. I'm Ilion.
I'm Boix.
This is,
Yep.
Boix.
Welcome to our Super Buddies episode, which we will try our hardest to not talk about Super Buddies. I
love. Hey, no. Hey, listen. I loved Spooky Buddies, so this had to be similar energy, right? Like Spooky Buddies was one of the best movies we watched. It had really cool Halloween action, kind of like fun, goofy, over the top humor, and like lots of setup and payoff, and really like in-depth scenes and stuff where like they had like the books all done up and everything like that. So
there was a lot of
like that,
care in Spooky Buddies.
Yeah.
To making
there was
a
lots
film
of care in that
has
Super Buddies too, right?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so Spooky Buddies put a lot of care into set piece, into theme, into feeling of what you should be feeling in a particular moment that's happening on screen, into comedy, into set design, into costumes. This movie fucking did none of that.
Super Buddies is the same.
This movie is farm animal bullshit, terrible CGI aliens, and everything I hate.
It's the clunkiest fucking thing.
It's like the polar opposite. They must have had two separate people work on them, like for... is it the same director? I
had somebody on Twitter tell me, when I said that I was going to watch Super Buddy this morning, they said, I've seen Super Buddies a few times.
Oh, jeez, I'm sorry.
I was like, what CIA black site were they abducted to that forced them to watch Super Buddies multiple times? Because that's the only way that's happening for me, is I have to be fucking abducted by some, like, bad actors trying to torture me.
It's the same director. The same director does all the Buddies movies, but it's the same director, so how is it so different? What did they fucking
writer
do? I mean, there is one different writer, but it's co-written by the director. And it's also 2 years after Spooky Buddies, so you can't say, like, Spooky Buddies came out after and they improved. No! They fucking degraded. They went backwards a lot.
Yeah. I feel like Spooky Buddies was just an accident.
It had to be.
I mean, and when you think about it, Spooky Buddies had a lot of really, really awful dog scenes. Every single time. The one thing that Spooky Buddies did really badly is that every time the dogs were on screen, it was the worst. Yes. I don't know how they managed it, but they made the dogs awful and unlikable and miserable. And this movie was all dogs.
It was all that. Yeah.
Sucked. It was just that. It was only that.
Like, at least in Spooky Buddies, there was maybe 20% dog. 20% seems about right. And then it was 80% kids, Halloween shit, all the fun tropes you expect to see in, like, a goofy kid's Halloween movie. And all the 20% of the dog scenes, garbage. This is 90% dog, 10% farm animal, negative 9% entertainment.
Yeah, I feel like what it was, you know, I'll tell you what it is. I think that I know what the difference is.
Yeah.
Diedrich Bader absolutely carried that movie.
Oh, he 100%
carried
did.
Spooky Buddies on his goddamn back like some kind of hero. Like, that's what it was. He was it wasn't Diedrich Bader. It was he was the Hound. It was the other one.
The Hound?
Harland Williams. Harland Williams.
Yeah.
Sorry. It was Harland Williams that was the warlock. I knew it was one of the two of them. Yeah, so Harland Williams was the warlock.
Yeah,
And
he was
he
the
carried
pro
that
skater.
movie.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he was the actual superhero the whole time. He carried that movie so goddamn much, and there was no equivalent. Like, if they'd had John Ratzenberger in more of this as more of Grandpa Man, maybe it'd have been better.
Yeah, they really needed more Grandpa Man.
They needed something like that. Like, they tried to have the sheriff be the goofy guy that kind of carried the film.
I guess, but he doesn't. He doesn't at all.
He doesn't in the slightest, no.
No.
He has all the best scenes. There's 3 of them, maybe. Are there 3 good scenes in this movie?
Are there? You're asking a lot for me right now.
There's a scene where the evil alien lassos is a pig. And then the
sheriff
small town
lassos
sheriff has
him,
to
yeah.
lasso him.
That was actually a good scene. That was fine. That was
Pretty funny.
They ended it in like a really creepy, like hitting on a girl thing, but whatever. It's fine. I don't care.
Yeah, that was real creepy.
You know what this movie was also missing? Franken Dude.
Yeah. Oh, there was Grandpa Man redirecting lightning. There was Grandpa Man assuming the mantle of Thor, and that was amazing.
Oh, what
Grandpa Man is worthy.
I have an idea. What if we supercut the movie to cut out all the dog and alien scenes and just leave the Grandpa Man scenes? I think we have a really good 5-minute short.
I was gonna say, I don't think we have 5 minutes. I don't think there's 5 minutes, Grandpa Man.
I think we could cut a trailer of that, though. I think we could.
We could cut a trailer of it. It would be every scene of him, and it would be 30
trick
seconds
everybody
long.
into watching this fucking garbage.
No, we couldn't.
I'm in.
No,
I'm in.
No, we could not do it. I don't think there's enough to edit it to make it look usable.
So, before we even watched the movie, we had a discussion of what the fuck is Super Buddies, and what could you even put in this film? We literally have no idea what to expect out of this movie.
I couldn't think of what they would do in this, because like a lot of the tropes that we have throughout all of these dog movies have been things like toy dad, right? Like there's like the dad who's the inventor
toy
guy
dad,
and does stuff like that.
Single mother or single parent. The dog gets hit by a car.
Yeah, well, they did. The thing is, they did the single mom thing, but for one scene and for no reason.
It was pointless. Yeah,
they just wanted to make a tragedy for no reason. I don't know why they did that.
because the dad was a cop who was dead for. It was implied that he died
for no reason. Yeah,
probably
they just
in the
had
line
him
of
be
duty.
dead. So like because this was. So, oh god, do we have to talk about the movie? We have to talk about the movie.
We're
just
trying really hard to not talk about
Basically, it was the guy that... So there's a guy that writes the comic books, but they're actually real, and he's in the movie for 30 seconds. And when he runs into a dog that was actually an alien... That's the good guy alien, and like it's like a Green Lantern thing, I guess, kind of.
I guess
it's like a Green Lantern mashed with Superman. He's got like these power rings, and he lands on Earth and assumes a dog form, and the kid runs into the dog, and then he goes back to his mom and he's like, "Can we keep him? Dad would have wanted it," and like they just do that. And then he's in the scene for he's in the movie for 30 seconds. He's just the guy that wrote the comics that the movie's based on, I guess.
There is not an original idea in this whole fucking movie.
I didn't expect that. I didn't expect it to be. I mean, it felt like Spooky Buddies doesn't have original.
Yes, it was. What other movie has fucking Jeff Warlock skateboarding down a goddamn staircase?
Well, but like it feels very much like but all of that feels like. Oh god, Hocus Pocus though.
A lot of it felt Hocus Pocusy, yes, but
yeah, so it's not original.
But
it's just good.
They tried.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
This just straight up like copy paste,
which is fine.
This copy
paste it, but in a clunkier way. Like it's just the problem. So it starts out. The movie is like they didn't know what to put in this movie. Is part of the problem. Is that they tried and ripped off like a bunch of different things. Like they went, okay, superhero movie, where's the setting for that? And they went, oh, farm because Superman. Like, that's very obviously what it is, right?
It starts off very Superman.
Aliens crash landing, escaping, like a genocide kind of thing, which, wow, okay, cool, super buddies. Like that kind of thing, and then crash lands on farm, like that's the idea. But the problem is that it fast forwards through all of it and then it slows right down. It does the thing that we used to have a problem with on this show.
The roller coaster problem?
Yeah, where what it does is it's like, okay, we need to set all of this up. And it just does like a checklist of the beginning where it's not really... So in a regular movie you have setup and payoff. And this sets everything up, but it's done in such a bad, clunky way that they might as well not bother. Because it's not a natural flow of a movie. It just goes like, it feels like a rushed checklist. In the first 10 minutes, it's like, okay, introduce all the characters. Oh, there's a comic book. Oh, he's got like these toys that are rings that are actually from a comic book that are in the puppy chow. They very proudly portray Purina puppy chow. And like they kind of introduce all of the people, but in like these cut scenes like that just go from one to the next with no flow. Like there's not a idea of why it goes from one thing to the next other than we have to have these people introduced in this movie, so it'll just hard cut from one person to the next. It'll hard cut from one scene to the next.
It like tries to hard cut between every dog too, so every dog gets a specific scene to show off.
Exactly.
But all of them are fucking pointless.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. It's like there's not... It's not like there's some impetus at the beginning of the film for any of them to come together and see things. Like, there's no... It just kind of goes. Like, why does he get power rings in his cereal... not in his cereal, in his puppy food? Like, why does you get these things? Just because it has to be there. Why are the actual power rings in a hole in the floor of the barn when there's no hole in the roof of the barn, even though they were shown crashing into it, kind of thing.
They never
because
realized
it had to be.
It had been there for years, according to the plot, and like, what?
They're just in a hole.
Yeah, because
like,
okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm so bad right now. So okay, the rings apparently landed on the Earth in the opening cutscene in this barn that Grandpa Man owns. Yeah, apparently this happened
kind of thing.
Yeah, apparently this happened when the artist of the comics was a kid. He was like 7. Later on in real time, he's like 20 something. So in 20 some years, these glowing rings which glow through the dirt with a hole in the floor that made a hole in the roof of this barn.
Well, they didn't make a hole in the roof because there's no hole in the roof.
Okay, so did Grandpa Man not go in the barn for 20 years? Like, is that what happened? Because the door was open. That's what I mean. And that's what I mean about, like, there's no actual rhyme or reason to it. It's there because the plot demands it's there. It's very much that. Like, just, they kind of wander around. And, like, why were they searching in the barn anyways? Oh, because they had a treasure hunt. Well, like, why did they have a treasure? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's done in a stupid way where everything just kind of... There's no impetus for the kids to be doing a thing. They're not out having an adventure where, like, there's a rhyme or reason to stuff. It just happens because it needs to happen. It's a checklist. It's like, okay, well, we need to have the puppies find the rings. So why do they find the rings? Oh, well, because they're looking around the barn. Why are they looking around the barn? I don't know. I guess we can send them on a treasure hunt. Like, it just kind of... It's all done stupidly. It feels like a first draft.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't edit it afterwards. They're just like, oh yeah, that works.
Every single scene flows in such a clunky way where it kind of feels like, well, why does this happen? Oh, because plot demands it. And it happens, like, instantly. Like, for example, it has the dog crash land, right? Oh, well, the alien crash land and like turns into a dog. And it's like, well, why does he turn into a dog? Oh, well, because he has to be a dog to be found. And then it's literally 5 seconds later, they have a kid crash into him. It's not like there's no, like, setup of him, like, wandering around going, like, well, now what do I do? How do I find the rings? And, like, him kind of, like, a montage of him wandering around the city. And, I mean, granted, I don't necessarily mean that it has to be that slow, but, like, they need to have a bit of a flow to let it breathe, to give some idea of, like, what's happening. Like, give a flow to things, like, let him be like, I need to find, or maybe, I need to find a kid so that I can be adopted since I accidentally became a dog, and now I need to find these power rings. Do you know what I mean? Something like that, but they don't do any of that. They just it cuts immediately to a kid hitting him with his bike because it has to happen for the plot. And then the kid goes home to his parents, to his parent, to his mom. And he goes,
yeah, that dad
Mom,
did.
the dog's cold and we need to feed it and we need to adopt it. And she goes, okay, your dad's dead, so I guess so. Like, it just happens because it needs to happen.
Find this dog.
Help me. He looks tired and hungry. Can we keep him? Dad would have wanted us to.
Oh my god, the dad's dead!
Dog.
Dad used to say if you give a lost dog a bath, he'll never leave.
Fuck!
Okay. I guess we'll be testing your father's theory.
Thanks, Mom.
You know what happened after that, though? There was some very important scene that happened after that. The alien dog tells the kid everything about what happened on his home planet, which he made comics for. And then they got into superhero costumes and went to a hostage situation and got shot in the fucking leg.
Yeah, no, it's like, what? Yeah, immediately they show these kids, they're like, oh, I'm going to be Kid Courageous and you can be Captain Canine, as like the dog and the kid that adopts him, and it's like 20 years in the past.
This
and
kid
and
has
they're
the
like,
genius
here, I'll get
idea.
a police scanner from my
Yeah.
dad's old police stuff. And it's like, bank robbery in progress.
Hostage
There's
situation.
hostages.
3
And it's
down,
like,
they're bleeding
oh, wow,
out.
let's go there. And it's like, wait, what? No, they're gonna fucking die.
The kid doesn't have powers. The alien dog doesn't have powers because the rings are gone. They're literally just going to die.
Yeah, they're
It's
just
like,
gonna run into
what?
a bank in a hostage situation and get fucking shot. Yeah,
What?
yeah.
Yeah, that never came up again. Fucking
No, they
Christ.
show, well, and that's what I
They
mean, like,
hand-waved that.
it's done in a very stupid, clunky way. Like,
Oh
they
my
become
God.
superheroes because the movie wants them to be superheroes. Like, he goes, oh, we should, like, it's set up very stupidly, because in a 30-second scene, or like a minute, 30 seconds or a minute, you have dog, okay, I guess the whole thing, if I do the whole arc, it's about 2 minutes long, where what it does is, alien crash lands, turns to dog, kid crashes into dog, kid adopts dog because dead dad is dead because of he's a cop and got shot or something. Then they get police scan and he's like, oh, I'll be a superhero because my dad was a cop and he died and I want to be like him. And then they get a police scanner and go out and solve this robbery, and then like that's the only thing that we have as that kid, like that kid and the arc with that dog is done. Like, that's it. That's the only thing that we have, and it's just set up for, like, he then becomes a comic book writer. Like, so it's like, is he actually a superhero, or is he a comic book writer?
Well, they also, hand wave later on the finding of the rings as well that the buddies have with a supercomputer that you control with a Mad Catz controller.
Yes.
It's like, everything
They have
with
a
that
Xbox
kid has been
Mad Catz
completely hand waved.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. It's just, they need to somehow make it so that the kids that are reading comics can use the comics later to solve a problem.
Yeah. And I'm fine with them hand-waving things. Like, hand-waving things is okay if there's a plot beside that, right? Like, if it's like, okay, well, hand-wave the stuff that doesn't matter and follow the main plot. But there is no main plot, because it does, like, all of that setup really quickly, where it's like, oh, okay, well, they wrote the comics, and the kid finds the comic in his puppy chow, and then they have the fake rings in the puppy chow, and then the dogs find the real rings. But then, like, it does all of that setup very, very quickly. And then what it does is it immediately goes into farm shit, where it's montage of all of the dogs going to a different farm animal and just, like, talking to them.
Oh,
and that we thought that was going to be set up for what the dogs would be doing as, like, their abilities, right? Like,
I guess, like,
but it's not
something. It was just garbage.
But it's not. It's not set up for that even. It's just them sitting there having a montage with the farm animals because they had to pad the runtime.
They definitely had to pad the movie.
Yeah, that's all that is. This movie is an hour and 20 minutes long, and it feels a lot longer, and it's so padded. Like, it's padded all over the place. And it didn't need to be padded, because the ending... Oh, God, the ending of this movie is fucking stupid. Anyways, there's, like, stuff they could have done to end it.
There's a couple things I want to talk about. They somehow shoehorned in the two thieves trope.
Yep. Yeah.
And it was fucking terrible, and I felt really
Yeah.
bad for them, and it did not feel very heroic. Gonna throw that out there.
So you had a checklist of things. Should we get into the checklist?
I guess we can go through the checklist. So, okay, so we wrote a checklist of things that we thought would be in the film. I actually wrote down 16 things.
Yes.
So this was like our rough list of what we think might be in there. So aliens, checkbox.
Check. Yep.
Bumbling thieves, checkbox.
And we thought aliens because it came out just after Avengers. So.
Yeah. I think we'll go through them as we see them, maybe. There's more. 30 minutes of family bullshit? Checkbox.
Checkbox. But
that one's in.
God, there's kind of not even, because it's just...
Oh, I count farm shit as family bullshit.
That's family shit, I guess.
It's fine. It's 30 minutes of literally nothing happening because they need to make the film longer. That's
30
fine.
minutes of padding is what it was.
Okay,
yes.
So the bumbling thieves, awful. I don't even want to talk about that scene. I fucking hated it.
I do want to talk about it. You can't take that scene from me.
That scene is garbage.
Yes, that's why I want to talk about it.
Oh my god.
That's why I want to talk about it.
I do not want to relive
The Super Buddies acquire
this.
their powers, and they need to go and stop crime. What crime could possibly happen in this small town? Oh, well, of course, the thieves will steal from the local candy shop.
They're not stealing money, they're stealing candy.
They're stealing candy. And then as the thieves are stealing candy, the dogs come in and torture them. That's what this is, right?
They
shoot stop the crime.
Ball bearings at them, cover them in tar, and feather them.
Yes, except the candy equivalents. Gumballs and, like, caramel sauce and stuff, and then, like, throw candy on them. But, like... they'd already stopped the crime, and then what they do is they just wreck the store and beat the ever-living shit out of the thieves. Which I was like, okay, I felt like this qualified for one of the things on your checklist. This is why we need to talk about
city
that.
destruction?
Because you said city destruction.
Okay,
which
yeah.
I think it qualifies for
They also
because
broke
it's a
a
lot of,
tree.
like, extra... Yeah, because it's a lot of collateral damage for a problem that didn't need any collateral damage. Like... they just needed to wrap the thieves up. But they wrapped the thieves up, and then they torture them. They just sit there and shoot gumball. Like, so the one puppy gets super speed, and she wraps the thief up. And then they start shooting them with gumballs and stuff. And it's like, wait, the crime's done. But then they dump candy, like, caramel sauce on them. And then they dump candy on them, and it's like, they're destroying the store! Stop! Like, you don't need to do this!
That scene did have the one only realistic scene in the entire film, which is the scene where the sheriff shows up afterwards, arrests the store owner, and then leaves him handcuffed outside while he deals with the actual criminals.
Yeah, the cops show up and bungle everything, and like just they arrest all of the innocent people.
That's the only realistic scene in the whole film.
Oh man, it was.
Yeah.
Can I tell you my absolute favorite thing about this scene?
What?
That the closed captioning called the one thief that was an idiot Simple Tom.
Oh.
I was real glad that they went there with it. That was
there's some like
real
racist leaning.
Oh, there's not leaning. There's a lot of just like straight up. It feels weird.
Especially with Buddha.
Yeah,
especially with Buddha.
Yes.
Well,
I mean, there's a lot of things.
And chanting and
yeah. The one dog, his name is Buddha, and he gets Om powers.
He only speaks
and he
in
has
foreign language.
If you have clarity of thought, you can develop your mind so you can move many objects at once.
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti,
Wow,
Shanti,
this is cool. We're floating.
Better stop! I might throw up all 4 of my stomachs!
That's a cow thing.
Very good, Buddha. Remember, positive energy will always win over negative energy.
Yes, they actually have a moment where he's chanting in the he's going like om om, and the closed captioning says chanting in foreign language, which, good stuff. Yeah, it's wonderful. He chants in like fake Hindu, And he, of course, like, goes with the cows because cows are sacred. And, yeah, it's, whoo-wee. There's some stuff in
I guess
there.
we haven't talked about the dog's actual powers.
But, Boykes, what about them hens, girlfriend? There's also that.
How about we don't talk about that ever? I'm done. No. I don't need to hear about the Valley Girl chickens. I'm out.
Oh god,
No.
there's so much like subtle racism in this movie. It's
Also the
awful.
Spanish bull. Yeah.
The Spanish
alright,
bull.
yeah,
There's a
whatever.
lot of real stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess they have powers.
Yeah, and
one
they
of them
solve a
one of them
crime.
gets fucking gross and bulked out, and I hate it.
Yes, yeah, the super dog, the dog that gets really strong, they decided to animate it in this weird CG where they like distort the dog body and make it super weirdly buff, and it sucks.
Just the upper part of the dog body.
Just the upper part of the doggy, just the upper part, because that's
But
the
it's, like,
part covered in costumes, so
bulbous?
it's easier to do it. It's bulbous and gross. Yeah. You know how you see like those like weightlifters that they give them even like mutant awards and stuff where they do like super buff weightlifters and they're like really vascular and stuff, like when they cut really hard and they don't drink all day and they like it's like that. Yeah, they're like weirdly distorted.
It's like the Predator handshake, but on a dog. Okay, so
It's
there's that
wrong.
fucking dog. There's the girl power dog, which is basically the Flash. Whatever.
Yeah.
There's B-Dog, who is invisible, I think? Or is
B-Dog's invisible. Yeah.
Okay.
B-Dog's invisible.
So that's the Invisible Woman dog, who also can apparently teleport when they go invisible. I don't know how the fuck that works, but whatever.
He doesn't teleport though. They just
disappear? Does he blink them out of existence?
I think so.
Can I check the Thanos box? Wait a second. I'm checking Thanos.
They blink
That
out of
was one of my
existence.
boxes.
It's weird because they don't teleport, but they also don't get hurt when they're invisible. Which
There's
okay.
Buddha, who can chant racistly to raise things with his mind.
Yeah, he uses his mind power. Yeah,
Yoga.
it's
yeah.
very racist.
And then there's the
Yeah.
best dog.
Oh,
Is it
boy.
Butterball? I think one of the dogs.
No, it's
can stretch.
Mudbud. That's Mudbud.
One of them can stretch.
Butterball is the one that's the sports dog that becomes really
Oh.
buff.
I'm glad that you know their names better than I do.
I know all of their names. It sucks. I hate
So
it.
one
I'm
of them
cursed with
stretches
this knowledge.
extremely unnaturally, and it's disgusting, and I hate it. And
And
that
he also goes like, "Yo, dudes, what's up, rad man? Totally awesome, cool."
he's the street dog.
that's-
The street dog also checked the basketball scene.
I don't know. Yeah.
And the sports scene.
Yeah, I did say there would be a basketball/sports scene, and he does. And I even specifically said at the beginning, I said, there's going to be a moment where one of them is like trying to play a sport and suddenly can do it better because he's got superpowers and like slam dunks a basketball because it can fly. And I was real damn close because he weirdly stretches up to slam dunk into the basket. And I hated it. It sucked. I didn't want to be right. I
can see it in my head, and it's still gross.
It's real
No,
bad.
I don't like it. No.
Yeah. It sucks a whole lot.
So we got the basketball scene in. Also, we got mustachioed villain in the Bumbling Idiots. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so that's most of the checkboxes. There's a couple else that we got
Yeah, you said
checked.
mustachioed villain was a checkbox, and sports and basketball were a
so
checkbox.
Cat propaganda was a checkbox.
Yeah.
Cat propaganda was something we were arguing about, because I'm like, well, they didn't do cat propaganda in Spooky Buddies or in Air
Where they
Bud
didn't
5.
hate cats, yeah.
Why would they
Where
bring
they were
in
like,
that
oh, we
trope?
hate cats. Cats are awful. Dogs
Like-
hate cats. Yeah.
Like, why would they do that when they haven't done it before? Well, they fucking
They
did
did it.
So,
They did it. I was right again. Woo woo.
one of the dogs, Butterball, buffs up like a fucking asshole and knocks over the tree the cat is stuck in, which falls
Yeah,
on the
it's one of
sheriff's
crimes
car,
they solve.
doing at least thousands of dollars of damage to the street.
Yeah, they destroy this car and the tree, which again, I feel like city destruction kind of is checkbox by this stuff, where it's like, again, just collateral damage is kind of how I wanted to look at that. And they go to kick a cat out of the tree, and they like sit there and mock the cat the whole time, and they have this horrible back and forth of
It's
being angry
real
at the
bad.
cat. And then they destroy the car by smashing the tree down on top of it, which, yep, cool.
They do have training montage. We did get a training montage where all the dogs
An hour into the movie? An hour into the hour and 20-minute movie?
It's like near the end.
Yeah. It's weird. It's very stupid. It feels like more padding. What it is like, so they find the rings, they activate them, they go out, solve a couple crimes. Then the bad alien, finds out that they have the rings because apparently it sends a signal. And the good guys on Earth also find it because they also get the signal.
Yeah.
I don't know. So they both go to this small town to find it. And bad alien is like going around causing havoc. Good alien finds them and trains them, and that's an hour into the movie. Yeah, Captain Megasis. God, why do I know these names?
Why did you know that?
I don't know. Why did I remember all of it?
I didn't even write that down.
I actually committed it to memory, like I have to do it for a podcast.
Okay, so there's one other thing we saw, which was lasers, and the bad alien can shoot lasers out of his fingers. So those are the check boxes. There's a couple we didn't get to, which I was surprised about. Drum and bass. I was thinking there would be some drum and bass when the aliens showed up, because aliens. A fart joke, somehow.
Which, yeah, they had that in Spooky Buddies. Butterball was like, oh, I'm gonna eat these eyeballs. Oh no, they give me indigestion. That defeated the main villain in that movie, actually.
No scientists in lab coats.
Nope. Yeah, I expected there to be like some kind of either evil or good scientist, like an eccentric scientist that did an experiment on them or something to change them. But no, instead they got power rings, so it's aliens instead.
No kaiju. So no
kaiju.
Giant monster.
And giant monster.
No, the villain is a dog. Somehow the villain is a pig.
Yeah, so the villain comes down and also assumes a new form, and I assumed it would be a dog, but the movie smartly realized that it would have that dog take over, that
body
alien
snatching.
take over it would body snatch a pig, because later on he would body snatch the sheriff. And that was just incredibly on the nose, and they decided to go with that. Which, hey, you know what? That was actually a good thing. Cool. I like they did the cop as a pig, because he snatches with the pig, and then he re-snatches from the pig to the sheriff. Once he gets lassoed, he changes into the sheriff, and then the sheriff is a pig for the rest of the movie. And for, at the middle of the movie as well.
I have a question. Why are the aliens Funko Pops?
They're awful. They're not Funko Pops. They're the Smooth Yoda meme. But
Smooth
in real
Yoda
life.
Funko Pops.
Oh, they're very, very
Jesus
smooth
Christ.
with very big heads, but like human lips.
Ugh.
And I
very
hate
tiny
it.
human lips.
I hate it a lot. I hated it so much. Every time they were on screen.
Just lips you can smooch. Smooch that alien. Go on. Give him the old smoocher.
They were incredibly, like, I don't know why they were Uncanny Valley, because they shouldn't have been, because they don't look human, but they've got real human lips, and it just was not cool. I didn't like it, boys. I really didn't like that. They made them
There's a lot in this movie
wrong.
that is extremely uncomfortable to look at.
Yes! It was real bad.
Okay. One last thing before we get into what we actually wanted to talk about, because this movie sucks. The ending scene for the film is the villain trying to get his magic rings from the Super Buddies. The kids decide to give him the fake plastic rings instead. But before that, our big idiot villain decides to pull a asteroid from space into the planet to not only destroy everybody in town and the Super Buddies, but also end the film quicker, which I was very appreciative of.
Yeah, he just wanted to destroy the entire Earth, and I wish that he had done it. Yes.
Both of us were like, okay, yes, please do that. My God, end this fucking garbage. Just do it. I don't care if everybody.
I am
if
accepting
literally
of death.
everyone in this movie dies, I'm okay with that. We can
It made me
end there.
want the movie
That
to
is
be
good.
real life so that he could just pull the asteroid right into Earth and we could just all be dead instead of watching it. Yeah.
So they trick him with the plastic rings. He gets into his ship. He flies off. He realizes they're plastic as they start melting. He panics and then flies directly into the asteroid he is literally pulling to Earth right now. Fucking blows up the asteroid and dies.
Yeah.
And the movie didn't end. And I felt like I was ripped off.
Yeah. They will... Because he goes like,
Yeah.
well, I will just... He's like, as I leave with my power rings, who cares? I'm going to destroy the Earth. You can all die.
Yeah.
Ah. And I'm like, okay, well, they'll have the scene where the super buddies have to combine their powers and destroy the...
Do something.
No. They don't do anything. He just lucks into hitting it for no reason. Because I even said, I'm like, well, this ring trick doesn't work because he's going to find out in 5 minutes and be back. But they solve both problems by just having him be a dumbass and hit the fucking asteroid, which is the stupidest ending to this plot. But it feels exactly like what this movie is, because like it's just, well, how do we solve these things? I don't know. We just have it happen. Like it's so much of just, it just happens.
I guess.
Fuck off. I was so mad about that. That was really dumb. I felt like that was a lot of, we ran out of budget and we didn't want to have the buddies fly up to like destroy the asteroid.
Oh, they definitely just wanted to release the movie.
We'll just finish this, whatever. He just hits it.
I mean,
sure,
maybe they ran out of puppies for the filming. They had to go through 3 whole crews of puppies within the filming of this movie because each of them, when they film the puppies in these movies, they're about 11 months old. So they grow very quickly, as you can imagine a golden retriever puppy would. Which means about a third of the way through filming, they have to get rid of a dog and replace it with another dog.
Yeah, like even a month of growth on a puppy is pretty obvious. Yeah. So they're doing like every 3 months of filming or whatever, or 2 months of filming, and they have to switch the dogs out every couple weeks.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's a thing. Okay, this movie fucking sucked. A lot.
I hated this.
This was fucking
like
garbage.
Yeah. There's nothing to talk about. It's just padding.
We've had bad movies. Millionaire Dogs was fucking frustrating.
Yeah.
And miserable. And
Air
I hated
Bud
it.
5 was just volleyball montages.
Yes. Literally just volleyball montages. But it had, like, a spark. A joy.
Dude, well, because it had, like, the bungling thieves side plot that had, like, 5 or 6 good scenes. This has, like, 2 good scenes. It has the sheriff lasso the pig, and that's kind of funny, just because of the way that it's done, it's just really wacky. And then it has Grandpa Man as one of the things in the final fight.
Grandpa Man.
He's like, I need to become Grandpa Man again, because he turned into Grandpa Man for, like, the kids' party at the beginning. At the beginning, that was why all the dogs were
Did we
together.
say
It was
what
a big
happened
party.
with Grandpa Man? He
Well,
literally...
no, that's what I'm gonna say. Yeah,
yes,
that's what
do it.
He goes up on the roof. So he's like, oh wait, I need to stop this. I'll become Grandpa Man. And I'm like, okay, how is he gonna solve this? This is great. I want to see Grandpa Man. And what he does is he assumes the mantle of Thor. Like I said, he jumps up on the roof with a steel rod.
Yeah,
and
in a lightning
storm, because of course the ending is in a lightning storm for some reason, and he catches lightning with the rod, but then redirects it down to the villain.
Yeah, somehow.
Which is amazing.
It
needed
good.
more of that, though. It needed more of dumb shit like that.
So
that was John Ratzenberger as Grandpa Man. He was great.
He put in the most effort in this whole movie. Yeah. Yes! Grandpa Man! Grandpa Man! I'm in! He's gonna break a hip and I'm so in for this.
For dogs. I really enjoyed
Yeah!
father and the leader of this pack.
Yeah, just fucking impale him.
Never give up.
Give it all you got! To be obliterated!
What the fuck? Okay, that was good.
Dudes, let's split.
That was good!
He's a minute and a half of it. Like, it's not... Like, even the Air Bud 5, which was, like, the most padding, I think, pretty much we've seen in any of these, besides this one, had a good, like, 5-10 minutes of subplot, or, like, at least 10 minutes, probably, of subplot of, like, the wacky thieves that was kind of weird and funny. And that was, like, 10 minutes?
It did have,
This
like,
has a minute
30
and a half.
straight minutes of nothing in a row that, like, we wanted to die. But this is more, like, spread out for the wanting to die moments, but there's still a lot of them.
I said, there's 2 or 3 scenes in this movie that were somewhat enjoyable.
Yeah.
That's it. There's nothing.
If we were going to make a better movie called Super Buddies, with these same 5 dogs and these same 5 abilities, how would we do that? That's my idea. I have an idea of how we would start. Let's start with the alien... fuck the farm shit. Let's start with the alien landing on the farm, middle of the night, lands in the field. The farmer comes out, not Grandpa Man. Whew, definitely not Grandpa Man, but some other random farmer comes out, goes to the ship, the alien pops out, and devours him.
Well, like, or, like, switch... I mean, it's a kid's movie, so, like, switches bodies with him, right? Like, steals his body. Or
body snatch devours him. Yes,
yeah,
I'm in.
Sure.
Whatever you say.
He's
just
murders
dead.
this man with his shit.
Yes.
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We need him to, like, pin him to the wall, eat his brain, and then, like...
So,
have
because
his
then
eyes
he's a
ooze out
threat.
and- yeah. There you go.
We as the audience, within
Sure.
10 seconds of the film starting, realize that this is a threat.
Sure. Yeah, but I
Okay.
mean, like, you could actually have him, like, imprison somebody, cause a bunch of damage, and be
Something.
kind of scary. This guy is just a bumbling idiot the whole time.
So the alien set up first. We know there's a threat, and now we need to know what's on the line. So the Super Buddies...
Yeah, you should start with some kind of
soon to
impetus
be
for
Super
something.
Buddies. Find the rings. As they're, like, dicking around in their treasure hunt. We can keep the treasure hunt. I don't fucking care. They get the rings
like we can
somehow.
have them. We can show like 2 different crash landing things, and we can have them go to a party and go for a treasure hunt and find the rings that are the other side of the stuff, right? Like he's chasing down the rings because they crashed here. He crashes somewhere else. They find the rings a different place through that kind of bullshit. Sure, I'd be okay with that. That's fine. Like you can kind of hand wave some of that.
Now, the Super Buddies realize that not only is that the alien, that threat alien is on Earth, but also other aliens are on Earth and disguising themselves as humans and other beings throughout the world. And not only do they find Captain Canine, they find other aliens around the world that are hidden and doing things like running shops.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you making they lives? Are you trying? Boinks.
No, calm down. So,
you can't give these dogs sunglasses and have them learn about how consumerism is making us all into zombies and the aliens actually run everything and they're all the corporatists and bankers and like politicians. You can't do that. That's not how you do this.
So the super dogs are recruited by the Men in Black and they go underground. And then they do their training montage, learning about all their superpowers with the Men in Black.
Yeah, I see what you're going with. Sure, you can do it a Men in Black style.
This should have been a Men in Black movie with superheroes. I'm not like just put Will Smith in there. Yeah, here come the Men in Black, and then the fucking dogs like do that shit. And then
and you could have, like even it would honestly as a rip-off kids movie kind of thing. It's not that it would necessarily be good to do this, but it would be better to do this where, like, you could even have it so that, like, the adults that are gonna have to watch this with their children have, like, you could do, like, the pop culture reference of kind of have it, like, trying to ape Men in Black and actually make it, like, pretend like it's kind of like Men in Black, like, keep referencing it, you know what I mean? Like, have a bunch of those references
like
and
a
stuff
wink.
in there.
Like
do little nudges and winks towards it where you kind of have those like little inside jokes of like, did you see we're kind of doing a Men in Black thing? Or we're kind of doing like this thing. There's like they have a motif of Superman just because it's on a farm, but that's where they end that motif, right? Like it's an alien in a farm and then they're like, that's all we know about Superman. Oops, sorry. Like that's it. There's nothing that kind of calls back.
What if they went deeper that way? And instead they made everything gray and dark. They made the buddies a dark, fearsome, way overpowered beings that punch holes in buildings.
Why did you Zack Schneider up the buddies? stop doing this. You can't make it They Lives, and you can't make it Zack Snyder. You're not improving this film. Stop.
Okay,
You're just Schneidering it. That's worse. That's worse. Stop it.
What if every scene has the stretchy dog doing fucking disgusting things instead?
But you're a point of making a better movie of like you could set it up where it would, because then there's an impetus for stuff to happen. Like the big problem here is that they don't have a reason to go out and solve crime other than, oh, we've got superpowers, I guess we should do this. Like there's no reason for that. So like if you had some kind of, the minute they get these superpowers, the secret society kind of stuff finds them and goes, oh, like, well, we've been underground all these years trying to find the rings, and now that you've assumed the identity, we need you to go out and, like, help us solve these problems, and we know that there's going to be aliens coming, and do it, like, right from the beginning, rather than an hour into the film, right? Do that at the beginning, where they get recruited right away, and then there's the training montage right away, and kind of set that stuff up immediately. That would make way more sense. And then you have them, like, going out and solving crimes, and the guy, like, they can have the battles back and forth throughout the movie. Like it's a movie, right? Like a movie. You can have that moment where, like, the villain takes all the rings, and he's got that moment, he's like, oh, I have ultimate power. Like, you know, like, you can have an arc. You can do that kind of thing, and then they can be like, oh, well, they even have this motif in the beginning where they go, you don't need superpowers to be a superhero.
Yeah.
But all of them have superpowers, and they
all
never
have
lose them.
Yeah.
They just give him fake rings, so that's never a point. They could have actually done that. They could have had that setup and payoff, right?
There's
they could
no,
have done
like,
it where they
down
give him the rings, the
point in the
actual
story.
rings. But then, like, they conquer him anyways because they don't need superpowers to be superheroes, and they outsmart him and beat him up anyway. Right? Like, you can do that. You can have a battle where they do something like that, right? Like, why not? But of course,
I have another idea. I have another idea for this movie. Okay, here's another good movie. Let's take Grandpa Man.
No.
Are you in? Okay. Grandpa Man is a crazy scientist who lives on a farm.
All right, I'm in. All right. Crazy scientist Grandpa Man has me in. You've got me.
Crazy
scientist
who lives on a farm.
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
His secret identity is Farmer John, but he's actually a scientist who has a lab in his barn, and that's why he hadn't checked it for 20 years, because he doesn't use that part of the barn. That's a hidden floor that rises up or something. I don't fucking know. But, okay, so he's a scientist. He
stopped being Grandpa Man after his horrible injury or whatever.
Yes. So the buddies show up to Grandpa Man's secret lair.
Yes.
All right?
Yeah.
And then he's conducting an electricity experiment. So they get them into a shopping mall parking lot with the DeLorean, and and then they travel back in time to 1950. And then Grandpa Man in the past has to use his lightning powers on a clock tower to...
Good movie. Good idea.
That was Super Buddies.
That was super...
Should we rate the dogs? I fucking hated the dogs. I don't want to rate them.
Well, that's why we should rate these dogs. These are the worst dogs. Well, oh god. Are they better or worse than Millionaire Dogs?
Worse?
That's a good question to have.
Did you just say that's a girth?
That's a girth. No, I said that's a good I was going to say that's a good question. Like
okay.
Like this is a tough so let's science this out. I want to do some science. Which of these dogs are the best dogs versus the horrible Millionaire Dogs? So, you're saying they're worse than Millionaire Dogs. But may I raise you that none of these dogs tried to commit murders?
That's not true. They tried to murder the bumbling thieves.
Okay. That's a fair point.
They also pushed that tree down on the sheriff and almost fucking killed him.
True. Yeah, they did shove the tree over onto his car.
Okay, here's the question. The Millionaire Dogs are being shitty on purpose.
Yes.
Right? The buddies are being negligent and endangering people because of their fucking stupidity.
Correct.
So which is worse?
Well, like, so inside of Super Buddies, they rely on their friends to help them solve the problem. Like, that is a thing that they do ultimately have, is they all have to team up to fight the bad guy.
I guess.
Their powers.
Yeah.
So, but in Millionaire Dogs, to solve the problem, they killed the one dog to get inside of the mansion, if you remember. They launched it without its consent over the top of the house.
Yeah, that dog's fucking dead.
When they were like they basically tried to, and they went, oh no, it's dead now. Oh well, let's find another way in. Do you remember that?
I forgot about that.
In Millionaire Dogs.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that's true.
they murdered their friends to finish Millionaire Dogs. I'm gonna have to give this to Super Buddies.
Yeah,
they
maybe
are better than
Dogs
Millionaire
are still
Dogs.
Worse. All right.
Now, are they better than any of the other dogs that we've seen in any of the other movies?
No.
And I'm gonna say no. No, just straight up no.
It's a low bar.
Immediately, they're the
but
second
no.
worst dogs we've ever seen. Normally the dogs are good in these movies. Oh god, are they worse than Chevy Chase as a dog? Or better?
I think everything's worse than Chevy Chase. Maybe?
Wait, you think Chevy Chase is the best?
No. Well,
He makes a joke about pedophilia for no reason.
That was an off-the-cuff joke that they just left in. That's true.
He makes a cute puppy scene.
Okay.
A scene of a cute old dog and a puppy prancing together into pedophilia, boy.
Like, okay, so
Is he the best dog? Does that make Chevy Chase a good boy? I don't think it does.
I think you are twisting my words, friend. There is no world where Chevy Chase is the best anything. Let's put that out there first.
You said that every dog was worse than him. That's why I was saying.
No, every dog in this movie is worse than Chevy Chase.
Oh, okay.
There's context here.
I don't know. Look at the chassis on... I will hear you on that and raise you a look at the chassis on that lassie, which is a thing that Chevy Chase says.
Okay, so on the Chevy Chaseometer, is this a look at the chassis on that lassie, or
she's a puppy, she's too young.
Like, where are we at on this? I think we should stop this conversation. I think it's actually. I don't think we're gonna end this conversation. I think we're done.
I'm gonna give these dogs a solid Chevy 5 out of Chevy Chase. They're halfway there. There they are. That's the rating.
Yeah, that's fair.
I got it. Yep. 5 out of Chevy Chase.
Would you?
Because there's 5 Super Buddies. Perfect. Boom.
Do you want to rate this film?
No.
Yeah, no.
Well, thanks for watching Rough Cuts, everybody. This was the most depressing episode we've done. I hated this. We followed it from the best episode we've ever had. Well, the best movie. That episode's good. I think the episode, but man, the best movie that we watched was watch Shaggy DA. Actually, watch it. Watch the episode and watch the movie. Shaggy DA ruled. I love that movie.
That is
this
legitimately a entertaining movie. Yes.
This movie's garbage. But yeah, thank you all for listening. We really appreciate everybody who stops by and shares out stuff from the movie. Like our stuff on Twitter, we have at Rough Cuts Cast. Sorry, at Rough Cuts Cast is the Twitter that we have. We share like a bunch of GIFs and stuff from the movies that we can find where there's like a good scene or something. So if you're wondering when we're talking about something, a lot of times we'll show it up on there, and then you can share it out from there. We really do appreciate all the people who do that. People like Nextspike, who share out all of our Twitter announcements and stuff when we put out a new episode and things like that. If you haven't followed us on iTunes or rated us and given us a review, that really does help us out a lot as well. And we'll be launching the Patreon soon, so we'll put that in some of the show notes as well. You can see them on our website at Podbean. So, yeah. Thanks for listening. See you another week, I guess.
See ya.
We're out.
Oh, thank God.
That was Boyk's just ending everything because this just needs to stop. Bang the gavel, end the podcast. Fuck. This movie.